Securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
We are all Charlie Kirk!
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came in on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
In that same year, you had the left side destroying Teslas, destroying Tesla buildings, committing violence.
And they used the other pin and everything. He didn't approve this stuff.
They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom.
Of racism and stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Military person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
He's right, he did beat Medicare, he beat it to death.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second, and I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is Monday evening, guys, and we're going to have a little fun, and we're going to get the stream started. Let's do this, baby. Hello, hello, hello. What's happening? Here we are. It's a beautiful day. We had Thanksgiving. We're all a little fatter now, and we're getting into the holidays. Ready? Here we go. Here we go.
Fox News alert. It is Judgment Day.
What up, Random?
Sources say Maduro's been praying to Jesus. That's the narco-terrorist, socialist dictator who took over for Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and keeps flooding American streets with migrants, gangs, and cocaine. 11 U.S. warships, including our largest carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, are now in the Caribbean. Venezuela is surrounded. The strike group is waiting on orders from the commander-in-chief.
Damn, bro, they are surrounded, and we got those the warships, bro. They're dialed. Look at them, bro. They're dialed in. What's up, Taka? What up, Random? What up, everybody? Let's go.
As the president's holding high-level meetings at the White House, calculating our next move against the narco state. The choice is Maduro's. Trump's giving him an ultimatum: abdicate power or else. After Trump's phone call with the dictator, that's the best offer.
The New York Times reported that you had a phone call with Maduro. Did you?
I don't want to comment on it. The answer is yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about it?
No, I can't do that.
Mr. President, would you say it went well?
No, I wouldn't say it went well or badly. It was a phone call.
This time, it wasn't a perfect phone call. The Venezuelan strongman reportedly asked for global amnesty.
He does, bro. Random, I totally agree. The dude literally looks like Saddam. I thought for a second it was Saddam, bro, on this screen.
Trump said, how about no? Then he said, what if I hold free and fair elections? Trump said, no. You already did that and you lost. Then he asked, if I step down, can I still control the military? 47 said, pack your bags. Even with a $50 million bounty on his head, Maduro's maintained an iron grip on power by bribing his cronies with kickbacks from the coke, oil, and gold rackets. But this time, the narcos aren't calling shots anymore. Uncle Sam is, a.k.a. Trump. And the president's tightening the noose. In the last 24 hours, Trump declared the airspace above Venezuela entirely closed. Closing airspace can only mean one thing. This is escalating, and it's escalating quickly. The commander-in-chief isn't going to ratchet up the pressure, then walk away without a win. There's no way Maduro can face down the full force of a U.S. carrier strike group. The president is keeping his options open.
What's the position on...
Yeah, but it's definitely the mustache and the hair, bro. He looks like Saddam. And his face a little bit, too. The shape. And the hair, yeah.
Whether U.S. troops on the ground is a possibility there? Is that... I know you've answered that before, but what's the current operative...
In Venezuela? I think my previous answer stands. There's many options at the president's disposal that are on the table.
Maduro's a sitting duck, and word on the street is he'll be out of power before Christmas. No one's bailing the socialist out. He's getting no love from his sponsors in Beijing and Moscow. Putin and Xi Jinping are at the table with Trump doing much bigger trade and diplomatic deals. They're not going to throw Maduro a lifeline and jeopardize the deals over a small fry in our backyard. And we're doing the Europeans a big favor. Venezuelan gangs have been trafficking boatloads of coke to West Africa, and the Africans have been pouring it into France and Germany. Maduro's isolated. According to UN investigators, he's guilty of crimes against humanity, torture, murder, sexual violence. He only got 20% of the vote last year, stole the election, and wouldn't leave. And he's unleashed migrants, gangs, and poison onto our shores. Chuck Schumer's backed military action in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, Yemen, and Ukraine. Schumer's basically down for whatever, whenever, no questions asked. But now that Trump's the president, he has questions.
Americans are right to wonder, what on earth is Donald Trump planning in Venezuela?
We're about to find out, bro. Taka on Instagram says, right here says, he needs to remove the infidels in Minnesota. He does, bro. I agree. And some other states too.
Is Donald Trump nudging America into another war? Is he seeking regime change for Maduro? Will he put U.S. troops in harm's way? Nobody knows.
There's no way Trump's telling Schumer anything. Might as well tell Maduro. Schumer's old enough to know the war on drugs has been a 4-decade failure.
Yep.
And he knows that Trump didn't storm back into the White House just to repeat the failures of past presidents. The Secretary of the Navy gets it.
Drugs kill more Americans than we've ever lost in wars. So I think at the end of the day, the president has correctly identified this as an attack on the country, which it is.
The narco traffickers are on deliver or die missions. They're ferrying cargo through the Pacific and the Gulf of America. Some of these speedboats are 40 feet long and carry $70 million of contraband. Taking out these boats hit the cartels where it hurts.
Get that shit out of
their
here,
bank
bro.
accounts. Enforcing out.
Get that shit out of here. We don't need none of that, bro. Come on now. Random says they are getting deported. They are being deported. He says they have offered Somalians the same offer as others, a plane ticket and $1,000 to get out on your own. Did they really? That's great, bro.
Maduro sends a powerful signal to the Colombians, the Mexicans, and the Chinese. The Monroe Doctrine's back, and American deterrence is back. Venezuela is a launching pad for coke. And
Glenn Paul says Minnesota has become a shithole of America, land of 1,000 lakes and 9,000
they're getting squeezed. The CIA is already on the ground there and have been authorized to give the president options. Operation Southern Spear is designed to defend the American homeland from drug warfare. And
W98, bro.
Guess who has a problem with that?
If you want to understand if those are drug boats, who would go on those boats, it's people who have families that have been kidnapped. Mm-hmm. And they're told, go on the boats or we will execute your children.
Are you the same guy that was telling us that Biden was the best president ever? Is that the same guy trying to tell us what to do? Is this the same guy, bro? Right here, trying to tell us how we're supposed to operate the military right now? The same clown that sat there and said, that's the best Biden ever? Get out of here, bro, please.
Where's he getting this from? Coke boats aren't being driven by hostages. The Wall Street Journal reports each boat is manned by 3 to 4 well-paid professionals, a pilot, a mechanic, a navigator, and a voucher man, someone who's trusted by the buyer and the seller. Now, someone's trying to sabotage U.S. operations, and the saboteurs are coming from within our own country. Over the weekend, the Washington Post accused the Secretary of War of committing war crimes. Hegseth order on first Caribbean boat strike, officials say.
Damn, Joshua's got something on Joe, bro. He's like, look in the Morning Joe and the dead secretary in his office in Florida. Uh-oh.
Kill them all. The story goes something like this. U.S. Southern Command launched an airstrike against a Coke boat. They saw that there were survivors and launched a second strike. So there were none. Pete calls it fake news. Quote, our current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law, with all actions in compliance with the law of armed conflict, and approved by the best military and civilian lawyers up and down the chain of command.
That's right.
Here's the White House.
Does the administration deny that that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law.
Lethal operations like this go through layers of lawyers. From the War Department, state, national security, everything goes up and down the chain of command and gets signed off on because we value life in America. The United States has conducted strikes all over the globe like this for decades. But for some reason, when President Trump does it, it's a crime.
What law is it that allows no survivors?
When Obama wants to blow people up with little drones without doing nothing, nobody on the left cares, huh? Now when Orange Man is in power, oh, they got all these clowns. Look at this girl on the left. All these clowns were asking these wacky ass questions, bro, like they know anything.
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
When Barack Obama authorized lethal strikes against ISIS during the war on terror, and our operators launched a missile at a convoy of ISIS fighters, and the missile hit, boom, everyone's dead. Wait, the smoke clears. You see one guy still hanging off the back of a Humvee, trying to get away. You double tap, boom, you finish the job. You're not going to send American men in to grab the surviving terrorist, put him in handcuffs, and take him to our base and give him a dinner and a doctor. This is no different. These cartel traffickers have been designated as foreign terrorists. We're blowing up terrorists in the Caribbean, but we're supposed to rest.
Talk about sending a statement, dude. That's how you do that. You do that, nobody wants to be on no boat coming over here, dude. Put a stop to that.
Rescue them from drowning if they survive? Now, I don't know what happened with this strike, but Senator Van Hollen, who never met a Latin gangbanger that he didn't like, has a new hoax.
New hoax alert. New hoax alert. New hoax alert.
I think it's very possible there was a war crime committed. Of course, for it to be a war crime.
Look at this retard. This clown on our TV. Random is right, bro. Random's called it. He said it right there. When Obama did it, he killed civilians. He killed a bunch of civilians. I know, dude. And they don't care. They don't care about the justice system. They don't care about victims and Epstein files. They don't care about nothing but Orange Man bad. That's all they care about, bro.
You have to accept the Trump administration's whole construct here.
That we're at war.
Which is we're in armed conflict at war with the drug gangs. Of course, they've never presented the public with the information they've.
Get out of here, bro, you clown. Dude, check this out. W. Scott Bolton. Maybe is he related to John Bolton? He says, once you've seen firsthand what drugs do to the community, you wouldn't feel bad for the narco terrorists. Thank you, bro. W. Scott, bro.
They've got here. But
John Bolton's nephew, maybe.
Could be worse than that, right? If that theory is wrong, then it's plain murder.
Barbaric cartels are injecting billions of dollars of narcotics into our country, causing death and violence and addiction. That's not a war crime, but stopping them is a war crime. Now we know what the Seditious Six video was setting up.
Do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Michael
Kelly and his
Bolton,
crew
bro.
were
I think
telling
that's
soldiers to disobey their superiors to hit coke boats. Next time the Secretary of War orders a coke boat blown, we could see soldiers mutiny. Democrats are telling soldiers to mutiny.
Just say simply, I'm not going to do that. That's against the law.
It puts a lot of burden on the troops to make a decision in real time. But
a reasonable person can tell something that is legal and something that is illegal.
So would you refuse these specific orders to strike drug boats if you were still in uniform?
Well, the difference between the initial strike and what is being reported, as a second strike, and those things are different. I think this administration has tied themselves in knots.
Well, the ladies of The View, who I know have never done cocaine, ever, says not only is Hegseth a war criminal, but all the rank and file should go on trial.
The person who gave the order can be held accountable and put in prison. The people that conducted the orders, that pulled the trigger, are also responsible and can be held accountable. So now you have people that are serving their countries, that are serving this country as patriots, perhaps following an illegal order, and then themselves can be court-martialed.
I don't think American servicemen and women participating in Operation Southern Spear are watching The View, but word's getting out that following orders in Latin America could land you in Leavenworth. Senators are telling soldiers to use the N-word.
You mentioned that you were a captain in the Navy. If you received that order, would you have carried it out?
No.
Trump says no one's getting punished except the people interfering with military operations. Quote, there are laws that affect our nation. Read Title 18, Chapter 115, Section 2387. Whoever with the intent to interfere, impair, influence the loyalty, morale, or discipline of the military and naval forces will be fined or imprisoned up to 10 years.
Joshua is right. That's sedition. And we have a new website on the White House. It's a new page on the White House website where they call out fake news, and they call this seditious on there too.
So where do these people even get off? The Biden administration, after Abbey Gate, executed 10 Afghans with a Reaper drone and called it a righteous strike. 48 hours later, oops, it was an innocent family. I guess it's not a war crime if it's an accident. Bombs Away Barry dropped over 20,000 bombs on 7 countries in 2016. Killed thousands of people. Not all of them were terrorists. There was a lot of collateral damage. Was anyone court-martialed? What we're witnessing now is a setup. The Washington Post leaks a story about a double-tap strike, and the Seditious Six comes out and calls it a war crime.
Hell yeah. What up, High Horse?
A week after their video told soldiers to disobey orders. It's so obvious, The View sees it.
Well, I know this is why those Democratic vets put out that video last week that people said, why would they need to say what's already obvious? The likelihood of this is it's not a war. We're not at war with Venezuela, but it's murder. It's flat out murder. And anyone that acted on those orders could be held on war crimes.
They've been foaming the runway for a while. CIA Slotkin, who's running point for this domestic propaganda operation, said last month, Trump, not Maduro, is the real dictator.
He seems to be laying the groundwork to stay in power. There are 2 ways this can happen, both straight out of the same authoritarian playbook.
Do I got to say it, bro? Here we go, bro. Trump 2028, baby. Trump 2028. Let's go.
A scenario in which Trump finds a pretext, invokes the Insurrection Act, and tries to impose martial law. Elections, therefore, could be canceled.
Isn't it funny that the CIA-backed Seditious Six doesn't want a real war on drugs? They want us to do the same thing that hasn't worked for decades. Well, maybe it has worked for the CIA. The CIA reportedly uses the war on drugs, cartels, Latin American paramilitary groups, as black ops. off-the-book operations to run money and weapons and rig elections. That's been widely reported.
Yep.
Now the military's leaking classified intelligence about airstrikes in the Caribbean? Seems like there's factions of the government that do not want Trump to be successful in Latin America. Isn't it weird that they have no issues fighting wars in Europe and bombing countries in the Middle East, but when it's in our own backyard and it's something that directly affects the American people, then they have a problem?
Joshua said it. I was about to call it out too. Joshua, you said it right there. The CIA traffics drugs into America like crack. Yeah. Yeah. And and now they're upset with an actual, real, proper war on drugs. And they want to continue with what they call the war on drugs, where they install drugs into our communities and then go put people in jail for it.
The United States is under attack from organized criminal narco-terrorists in our hemisphere, and the president is responding in the defense of our country. I do find it interesting that all these countries want us to send, and supply, for example, nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles to defend Europe. But when the United States positions aircraft carriers in our hemisphere where we live, somehow that's a problem.
One even more Fox. I love that, dude. I love it. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dave. Ambush after the and disturbing new questions tonight on the vetting of Afghan nationals after the horrific ambush shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. Investigators are digging deeper into the accused Afghan gunmen who...
What's up, Tamara? I don't know if I look different or maybe the studio is changed up here. Let me change the camera.
Killed Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and leaving Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf clinging to life. Tonight, we're told he's showing encouraging...
How about now? Does it look the same?
...signs of improvement. We're also learning that 5,000...
Wang Af, bro. Hell yeah. W, deal with it. Wang Af, baby. Let's go.
1,000 Afghan applicants have been flagged for security concerns since 2021 when former President Biden took office. In response, the Trump administration is halting all Afghan visas and reevaluating entry policies. And the president is defending the freeze.
That animal should not have been allowed to come into our country.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any
We don't want them. We don't
Oh, yeah, it is the angle, right? Yeah, it's the angle. I have this other angle now.
want those people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is there a list of...
Well, I guess we gave you 19.
Oh, and I got a wonderful Elon up here. What do you think about Elon up there? That's Elon when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I got that bad boy framed up.
Right? And it's probably more than that. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do...
Elon has James Dean hair, and I love James Dean, by the way. And I have a James Dean Mont Blanc limited edition right here on my desk that I use almost daily. Actually, I use it daily. It's a fountain pen. Very rare limited pen. I'll show it to you in a second.
Do a good job.
But that's Elon up above me, right here.
They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success, and we frankly don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
Hell yeah.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the tragic
people coming in our country telling us what to do, bro. Get out of here, bro. I love that.
Don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt says the tragic shootings underscore the importance of Trump's mass deportation operation.
W. Diane, what up, boo-boo? I've seen a couple of his, I think one of his movies or two of his movies.
The Trump administration is now actively re-examining all of the Afghans imported into the country by Joe Biden. Any individual who threatens...
I love it, dude. We need to look at everyone that's coming in. But this right here is the pen case right here. So if you look, you open this up, and I got a couple pens in here. One of them, this one right here, is a James Dean pen. If you want to see that, look at this. This right here, I have to go like this. It's a solid sterling silver, and it's a pretty sweet pen. Let me see if I can zoom in on that so you can see that. That's a fountain pen right there, and this is what I write with every day. I take notes on the books that I'm reading. That's a wood top. That's a shotgun barrel for the piece that clicks. But this is supposed to be like a blade, like from his movies. This is supposed to be like a shape of a blade. Anyway, now we're super zoomed in on me. Let's go.
Our national security or our citizenry will be subject to removal. It is more important than ever to finish carrying out the president's mass deportation operation.
But Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett seems to think that the problem isn't unvetted migrants.
Yeah, I use the pen. This is where I take notes on books that I read. So if you're curious, I wanted to start doing an hour where I talk about books that I'm reading. So these are like notes from Discrimination and Disparities from Thomas Sowell. And this is where I kind of write some notes on it and, my thoughts. I want to do an hour where I go through and share with you my thoughts on the books I read. And maybe I'll do that at some point.
But something else.
Now you want to go against every single immigrant. That doesn't make sense. And it's frankly not who we are, because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you, I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than.
That is false. I actually know the numbers and it's false. And actually, criminals from specific countries commit higher percentages of crime than almost all other groups combined. Not, let's just say percentage-wise. Somalis are 45% right now. They're about 45% of Somalis actually are on welfare, and they're committing a high level of crime. I can look it up, but she's completely wrong. And by the way, Jasmine Crockett is a person that said, just because you commit a crime doesn't make you a criminal. Imagine, black men commit 50% of all homicides in our country, and they're committing those homicides on other black men. And her, as a black congresswoman, is not setting a good example for the cultural problem that's going on within black communities and black culture, and where black people have talked about it, they know about it, they're especially ones on the right, they know there's an issue, but this lady apparently wants to go on and downplay crime, which is the opposite of helping the situation with the black culture in our country.
White supremacists, but we don't want to talk about that in this country.
All right, Jesse, shall we kick it off with you today?
What up,
It's just the craziest story I've ever heard. So the CIA starts these paramilitary units in Afghanistan. They're like, hit squads. They kick down doors in the dead of night and just kill everybody in there. You give these guys guns, you give them cash, you give them some intel, and they do the dirty work, and they do it very good.
W.I.B. Wallen, he says the black community does not accept her. Hell yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. They don't. For the ones that do look up to her, unfortunately, the ones that do, I'm sure there are some. She's not setting a good example.
Good job for us. So when you leave Afghanistan, these guys probably gonna get slaughtered by the Taliban. So what you do is you fly them to Qatar, and they say they vetted them in Qatar. Now, what does that mean? How do you vet someone? They pull out of a mountain in Afghanistan and hand a gun and some cash and tell him to go kill Taliban. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't have a therapist you can interview. He has no bank account. He has nothing. There's nothing to go on. You don't know if he beats his wife. You don't know if he's a sociopath. So they say, fine, let's fly you to Washington State, and we're going to put you up in a luxury apartment and all your 5 kids and your wife. So the guy gets there, and he doesn't work, and he starts smoking cannabis, and he starts becoming suicidal. And you check in on him, and he's always off driving somewhere. No one knows where he is. And there's all these red flags. And so I don't know whether the guy went crazy, he was out for revenge. You don't know. And so he goes in and he almost kills 2 of our guys. So what's the solution? The solution is you don't bring them here. Yes, they worked on our side in a nasty war. Why can't you fly them to Egypt? The guy doesn't speak any English. He'd be much more comfortable in a Muslim country. Why do you have to fly him here? Then we're responsible for him if he goes nuts. and we're collateral damage. It's not like we all of a sudden we're flying CIA-backed South Vietnamese mercenaries to Chicago when we left Saigon because we felt bad. No, it's just common sense. And that's all we need to do is use a little more common sense.
Emily.
W. Krebs, he's right. He says, I believe Democrats want all these people here so we can have nonstop problems. So that they can continue fear-mongering and saying, look, we said it's going to be like this, and look what's happening. On top of that, they also want their voters. They also want people that are going to add to the census and that will help them when it comes to votes electoral.
Yeah, for those having issues with how the administration is handling now, these ghastly and preventable ambush and murders, and almost two, remember back there's a million examples of this, but in 1982, the Chicago Tylenol murders, when someone poisoned a few bottles of Tylenol, just a few. But what happened? Across the country, every single bottle of Tylenol was recalled. And then it also changed so that from now on, every cap, every bottle, everything you get in a store has a sealed container so that you know if it has been tampered with. So why now, when just as there, it was a fatal response? Why now, when we know it was because of an utter failure of a deranged lunatic that was behind this, and I sort of include President Biden in that comment too, why now are people loath to examine who's in this country? The reality is that we have up to 85,000 refugees that weren't vetted at all or were vetted so minimally as to call it an utter failure. And that the headline seems to be, for example, by the New York Times, that President Trump blames without evidence on immigrants and now is sitting to task the process of vetting them for the first time meaningfully. Shouldn't the headline be the utter failure of the prior president did not secure and procure American interests first and foremost as a priority, which has led to the preventable death of Sarah Beckstrom? I find it appalling, and as usual, the mainstream media is in concert with the failure of that administration that at all respects ignored the well-meaning advice of generals and ignored the well-being of our troops and our American citizens. And now with this president finally doing that for the first time, we are told he's being racist. Think about, too, the daunting nature of this task, the sheer volume of the vetting, and also with a non-collaborative or corroborative body like the government of Afghanistan, the majority of those identities are false, and there's no ability to corroborate or authenticate them. So we're dealing with an 85,000 strong mess. But this president...
All right, Miss Medication just showed up. Where are you at? You gonna come say hi? Hello, hello.
Hello.
We're over here on this one. If you want to come on this one, it would be this screen right here. There you go.
Why so many cameras?
We're having a little fun, dude. So anyway, thanks for saying hi. Are you gonna come chill?
No, I have so much to do.
You do?
Yeah, I
All
have
right.
to shower.
All right. Do your thing. I'll see you soon.
And this administration says, you know what, we'll take it one by one and step by step because American interests and American safety is that much of a priority to us. It is so refreshing. But God rest Sarah Beckstrom's soul and also President Biden after this because it lands squarely on his shoulders.
100% agree. Thanks, G-Mommy. Thanks, Random. Thanks, everybody. Get them out, bro. I agree 100%, dude. 100%. John Babcock, thank you for subscribing, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Good looking out, man. Thank you. Let's keep going. And there we go.
There were emails, Jessica, in 2021 that surfaced on the Biden team. They basically were trying to increase their historic airlift numbers,
right?
And the vetting went by the wayside. So then people, unfortunately, have to pay the price for that, like Sarah Beckstrom.
Yeah, it was definitely a hurried process. I did not see many Democrats even or people part of the administration who were defending the way that we exited this situation. And a lot of the concern was actually for people like this alleged murderer who had helped over the years. And you see veterans all over TV talking about how amazing the vast majority of these people are and that we were going to leave them to die if we did that. I think that looking at that program again and saying we can't repeat that is definitely important, but it's been disappointing to see President Trump or DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on the Sunday shows denying the fact that Donald Trump's administration granted him asylum in April of this year. So they had a chance to evaluate the situation as well when he was nuts, when he was suicidal, when he was threatening, all these things that have been going on in his life, and they also let him stay. So just making this it was your fault, not we have an American problem, I think turns a lot of people off from this, or this kind of rhetoric when Trump is posting that you need to denaturalize people who undermine domestic tranquility and deport foreign nationals who are not
11.5, baby. Here we go. Thank you for subscribing, guys. We just hit 11.5, dude. Awesome.
uncompatible
Thank
with
you.
Western civilization.
Thank you for supporting
Using those
me.
kinds of sweeping terms versus saying, we need to look at this program and we need to make sure that everyone that we are bringing here deserves to be here is a much more appropriate response to it. But, you know, I understand and was personally hugely upset by this and continue to be, and hope that, you know, the soldier who's fighting for his life can get through.
So many of these stories that we've covered over the years, Greg, have to go back to that the terrorist only has to be right once. You have to be right every single time. And doesn't seem to be a way to track radicalization in a way that would prevent it.
Well, first of all, it isn't Trump's fault for not finding the needle in a haystack that was placed by somebody else. You know, it would be perfect, it'd be great, but it's not his fault. We share the same brain, Emily. It's kind of scary because I was looking back at 2016 at the Syrian refugee issue, and I remember the big story wasn't about the Syrian refugees. It was about Donald Trump Jr. talking about the bowl of Skittles. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
If you get a bowl of, it was like a meme in the early 20s, you're talking 10 years ago, a bowl of Skittles. If you knew one was poisoned, obviously you wouldn't eat the bowl of Skittles. The media went crazy. They went nuts. How dehumanizing to compare illegal immigrants to Skittles. How racist, how xenophobic. They are human beings. They are not candy. We know. Analogies, by their definition, aren't the actual thing. They are the analogy of the thing. But it didn't matter because that worked. That argument worked. Suddenly, you could not talk about illegal immigration because you were considered xenophobic. So you started to see this variable show up in almost every kind of scandal or problem that the Dems were involved with. No oversight, no accountability, because those things were linked to bigotry. So you could, fast forward, you can wave in men to play in women's sports. There's no accountability there because remember, if you called it out, you would be called homophobic or transphobic. If you called out, hey, man, you're granting a lot of asylum here for a lot of people we don't know. Well, that's xenophobic. You invent cashless bail. If we come out against that, you're racist against minority. They create these huge government programs, which we'll talk about in the B block, that doled out billions to Somali refugees. Again, xenophobia. So the missing piece here is accountability, which was controlled or eliminated by the accusation of racism. What happened? We suffer. I think that at this point, you needed somebody like Trump who said, I don't care if you call me a racist.
Great segue to this video, actually.
Has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of?
Great segue to this. Look at this one. Talking about Trump not caring if people call him racist. Watch this. Let's play one more time from the beginning.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you're asking me about Muslims' illegal immigration, none, not even one will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked
this
not about illegal
failed.
immigrants. I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we have not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland.
Listen to what he says right here. Remember what they were just saying on Fox? They needed someone like Trump that doesn't care if you call him racist. Listen to what he says right here.
And we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you're asking me about Muslims' illegal immigration, none. Not even one will come to
None. Not even one will come. Listen to this guy, bro. This guy's a G, bro. Look
Poland.
at this
Not
guy.
even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim.
This guy is a straight G, bro. You don't mess with this guy, bro. This guy is on it. This guy is nuts. Dude, we got Trump, bro, finally to make a dent into our problem that was created by the Bidens and everyone else. But this guy is a G, bro. Look at this guy. Not even one Muslim. Listen to this guy.
Because this is what we promised.
But I asked
This
not
quota
about
system
illegal
failed.
immigrants. I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission president, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland. And we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Yes.
How many refugees?
Love that, bro. Love that. That's what I'm talking about. Now we can go back and listen to this one more time because now you see the perspective.
I don't care if you call me a racist. I'm going to come in here and fix. I don't care. And eliminated by accountability, which was controlled or eliminated by the accusation of racism. What happened? We suffer. I think that at this point, you needed somebody like Trump who said, I don't care if you call me a racist. I'm going to come in here and fix this because in the long term, I'll be happy. You can call me a bigot, but I'm going to tackle these challenges. And what happens is the other side who created this risk, whether it was on the border or with crime, inspire mutiny. They inspire mutiny in the street, in government, in the military. So not only do they create the opportunity for hell at the border and with the National Guard. Think about the National Guard. They were in D.C. fixing lack of oversight with crime, and they get shot and killed because of a lack of oversight on immigration. All Trump is trying to do is, I'm trying to fix the oversight, and they go, we have a problem with your process. No, you don't have a say in the process anymore. You're done. So.
Great way to end it. All right, coming up next, a $1 billion fraud firestorm erupting on Tim Walz's.
We begin with something I have been saying forever. And I always add when I say it, I pray to God I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when Biden's unvetted so-called illegal immigrants, they call them migrants, commit an act of terror inside of our country. Sadly, this preventable tragedy, it played out last week when an Afghan refugee opened fire on U.S. National Guard soldiers on the streets of Washington, D.C. Now, U.S. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, only 20 years old. That woman is 20 years old, murdered in cold blood. At the very hour, Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who was critically injured, who is now fighting and clinging for his life as we speak. And we're going to update you on all of this in a moment. But first, we got to take a step back and remember, how did we get here? Take a look.
We are conducting thorough scrutiny, security screening for everyone who is not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. Anyone arriving in the United States will have undergone a background check. Number 3, once screened and cleared, we will welcome these Afghans who helped us in the war effort over the last 20 years to their new home in the United States of America.
It was never thorough. They weren't screened. They were never vetted, and they were never cleared. There was no way to truly vet these people in, quote, record time. Now, the pro-U.S. government in Afghanistan, as we all remember, was an embarrassment. It collapsed because of Joe Biden, his incompetence. The U.S. fled Kabul in one of the worst, most chaotic ways possible. We lost 13 American service members. Remember, they were killed by terrorists during this Biden-caused disaster. They piled people at random into military planes. They left many American citizens behind enemy lines while accidentally evacuating some Afghans, but among them, many extremists. And then, to top it all off, the Biden White House continued to import thousands upon thousands of more unvetted Afghan nationals on top of his wide open borders. More than 5,000 of them, that's over 5,000, were flagged for national security issues, but they let them into our country anyway. Nearly 7,000 had links, to potential derogatory information, including nearly 1,000 who were flagged over public safety concerns. That means concerns about you. And as of today, there are 800.
There was a bunch of retards running this shit, bro. Of course it didn't get done right. Bunch of morons that were doing the vetting. Literally, bro, it's insane. What is this? This is the work from home crew that was doing all the vetting. They were literally the ones that did no work whatsoever. They're like, oh yeah, these guys are, yeah. Check mark, check. Yeah, they're good. Let them in, bro. Let's go.
185 individuals.
Why? Because they weren't actually working. They're working from home, right? That's what this was. The work from home crew was doing the fucking vetting during this Biden administration debacle, letting in these wackos into our country.
With national security concerns, we don't know where they are. They're still at large inside the continental U.S. But according to Alejandro Mayorkas, the administration's chaotic, failure, disaster, dangerous plan to import unvetted Afghan nationals and lie about it was a great source of pride for them. Take a look.
Operation Allies Welcome, which we led in a coordinated effort across the government, is a great source of pride for us to bring to safety in the United
All these betas, bro. It's been a while since I used my beta button, bro. Beta male. Look at these beta males, bro. Beta male. Running our country during the Biden administration, bro. Bunch of losers, bro. Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman. United States individuals who stood alongside our armed forces in Afghanistan.
To those who got on the C-17s and other planes, how many were vetted before they got on the plane by American officials?
To the United States, it is our policy to vet and screen 100% of them.
So 100%.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
100% of those people that got on the plane were vetted. That's your testimony under oath.
It is our policy to do so.
Are you telling this committee under oath that 99% of the people who got on these planes in Afghanistan were vetted by our government before they got on that plane?
I want to be very clear because precision...
Because you're not.
No. Senator, if I may, you are asking me about planes from transit countries, the third countries...
I'm talking about people who got on the plane in Kabul airport.
No, I can't speak to that.
Clown show, bro.
Were they vetted before they went on the plane? Not a complicated question.
Not a complicated question, bro. Come on, man. What is wrong with these losers? That's why we need the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope. Mayorkas, frankly, was dodging and ducking and weaving and lying. And so was Circleback Jen Psaki. Remember, Biden's press secretary assuring all of America that all Afghan refugees coming into the United States were vetted and peace-loving patriots. Not really. Take a look.
I can absolutely assure you that no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process. And there are many individuals, as you noted, who have not been through that process, and they have gone to lily pad countries as that process has been completed. It doesn't mean that that's because there's a flag. It means they have not completed their paperwork, and we were working to save tens of thousands of people. Hence, we evacuated them to these third countries.
Just like the millions and millions across the board.
Yeah, I saw that, Aquarian. I just read your last comment, and I see where you also said he was radicalized when he came here. Somehow, we radicalized him here. He wasn't radicalized in Afghanistan. He came here, and our Democrats radicalized this guy.
Border of the roughly, 76,000 plus Afghan nationals that Biden officially welcomed into our country was just a small portion of the millions and millions. We have called attention.
I have the same question as Mason. He says, what's a lily pad country? I think a lily pad country is something that you go to on your way to. It's like a stepping stone kind of a thing, right?
To it over and over during the 4 years of Biden-Harris Mayorkas. Unvetted, illegal immigrants allowed into this country, 12, 20 million, gotaways. We have no idea how many people they allowed in. We do know they came from everywhere. We do know they came from over 200 countries. We do know many of the countries they came from had terror ties, and almost none of them vetted. And the big lie that they told.
Jennifer, what's up, Jennifer? Missed you in the chat already. Hey, she's right. How do you know when a Democrat's lying? When their lips move.
Over and over and over again, the border's closed, the border's secure. That was the mantra of the Biden-Harris Mayorkas, administration and their complicit allies in the media mob that never asked a question. They never dared raise the questions that needed to be asked. Now, in response, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem issued this statement, quote, "I am recommending for a full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. Our forefathers built this nation on blood, sweat, and the unyielding love of freedom, not for foreign invaders to slaughter our heroes, suck dry our hard-earned tax dollars, and snatch the benefits owed to Americans."
Yep. I said it, bro. I said it in the earlier stream this morning. Dude, they were scamming us from their own countries. Then they figured out, dude, we could just go illegally or legally immigrate into the country and scam them from inside their country. They're just ripping off taxpayers by coming here illegally. And 45% of them, you can look it up, 45% of Somalis are on welfare. Yours and my tax dollars.
We don't want them. Not one. Unfortunately, Democrats are now vilifying the very people trying to clean up Biden's disaster. They compared National Guard soldiers on the streets of D.C. to stormtroopers, Nazis, Gestapo, brown shirts, Democratic Congresswoman, now Senator Elise Slotkin even suggesting that these service members were dangerous to the general public. Let me repeat that. That the National Guard soldiers are the danger to the general public. Oh, is this not whipping people into a frenzy?
John Babcock has a point. He says, the guy can be a jihadist and decide to just go earn big bucks while working with the U.S. in Afghanistan. Then the job ends and goes back to being jihadist. That could happen. What do you think, Aquariums?
Is this not demonizing them? Is this not dehumanizing them? Is this not insightful rhetoric? You decide.
When you look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago,
Keller is trying to make lefty points here. It says there are more white people on public assistance than any other populace. You know that we are a country of white people, right? There's more white people in our country than any other right? You know that. So your point makes no sense. By the way, 8% of white people are on welfare. 45% of Somalis are on welfare. That's the number you should be looking at.
It makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people.
Another thing, why is only 3 to 5% of Japanese on welfare? However, 45% of Somalis are on welfare. That's a problem, isn't it?
Law enforcement, people in uniform, military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground.
By every single metric, safety in Washington, D.C. vastly has improved with the assistance of these brave men and women, these National Guard soldiers. They are saving lives. Homicide rate down 60, 70% in some cases. And it's not just D.C. FBI Director Kash Patel says the homicide rate for 2025.
Taka nailed it. He says Japanese have self-esteem and they have work ethic. They also have pride. They also have shame. They also give a shit about themselves. That's a problem. That's I think the thing. People from South Korea, people from China, people even from India is way less than Somalia. People from Iran, even though a lot of the Persians happen, not a lot, some of them are Muslim, still they have a pride. It's a pride thing. It's a shame thing. They don't want to be living in this country, ripping off the American taxpayer and looking like a schmuck. They don't want to do that. Of course not. That's what it is. You can name any country, honestly, any country other than these Muslim radical countries from the Middle East and Eastern Africa.
When the numbers come out, will likely be the lowest in decades in this country. And
they have zero shame. They don't care.
This is thanks in large part, to police.
Min says most Koreans would rather work 5 jobs than to be on EBT. Exactly, bro. It's a cultural thing. It's a whole bunch of things. It's cultural. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different thing, bro. I've never met a single Japanese or Korean or I think I've met a Persian. But I can't confirm. I have not met a single one on welfare. Not one Japanese, not one South Korean. I don't know if I know a Chinese person. I don't know if I personally know an Indian person. I may know a Persian person just because my parents are Persian. I know so many Persians. I may. But how come? How come you don't see that, bro? But yet 45% of Somalis are on welfare in our country. And Nigerians too. They learned that, dude, they don't have to scam us from their own countries over the phone anymore or online, email. Hey, bro, send me $10. I'll send you 100. Or, hey, there's money that's stuck in an account that only in America, we can only release to an American in America. If you just give us $10, we'll sign it off to you. It's $10,000. Remember those scams they did to old people and retards that went along for it? Dude, now they learned they could just come into our country and scam the American taxpayer without doing shit. They just can't come hang out and eat off of our tax money.
To our National Guard. But according to one Democratic strategist, more National Guard soldiers really just means more targets for violent criminals. Wow. Remember the big stink the media made? Targeted districts.
That's, State Line said it. That's their version of the American dream. Somali and Nigerian American dream, guess what it is? American taxpayer money welfare. They go, nom, 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 they gobble it up. You and I go work and we go fucking do our thing. Right? We're chasing our American dream while they're chasing their American dream. Their American dream is to eat off of us.
Of Sarah Palin. Unfortunately, this never-ending rhetoric from Democrats, the leftist media, it is putting all of these brave men and women, our national treasure, at risk. As one young man, Andy, tonight is fighting for his life in a hospital. Even Senator Mark Kelly suggesting this weekend that our servicemen and women could face criminal charges when Democrats take back power if they carry out unspecified illegal orders from President Trump. But of course, he and the other 5 that are trying to encourage such never identified one single illegal order. Not one. Take a look.
It puts a lot of burden on the troops to make a decision in real time.
It puts a tremendous amount of burden on officers in the military, but that is their responsibility. And they can figure out, a reasonable person can tell some.
Capito says Americans essentially invented welfare during the Depression. So if it is cultural, it's white American culture because they essentially invented it. No, it's liberal, democratic, moron culture. And it has never actually helped the very people it's intended for. It hasn't. It keeps people down. It doesn't give them what they need to move on. It doesn't do that. In general, it's hurting more than it's helping the very people it's intended for.
Something that is legal and something that is illegal. And I was saying weeks ago, my concern is with the service members, that we're going to put these individuals in a really, really tough decision, in a tough place. And, you know, they may find out, you know, down the road that they did something that.
Yeah, Random is right, by the way. Welfare was around for thousands of years. And here's another thing. Here's another thing. Yeah, people that say there's a lot of lefties, Democrats, that will tell you Americans invented slavery. That's an American thing. Slavery's been around since the beginning of humans, the beginning of humanity. Since we were humans, since humans had ever the capacity to have a slave, they did. Just so you know, read a history book. It's true.
That is illegal. It is not fair to them.
And what are you doing? You're creating chaos in terms of the president of the United States undermining his authority as commander-in-chief without identifying a single incident in which that occurred. Democrats are now vilifying Americans for simply working their hardest to make the country and the world a safer place.
Cam Goer 1 is right, bro. Mark Kelly in his Dumbo years. Court-martial his ass, bro. Let's go.
Place, including ICE agents who face attacks and threats and doxing and harassment every single solitary day. We chronicle it almost every night on this program. Then you have Gavin Newsom. Oh, well, if he has his way, ICE agents can't put a mask on, but the people that protect him can. Oregon's Attorney General is even threatening to prosecute ICE agents, the governor out there, for doing their job. And make no mistake.
This is right. Look at Apaza. Look at what Apaza says. He says it was invented to help. It was invented to help you get back on your feet, but all it does is make blacks and the brown people lazier. It makes anybody that's on them lazier. It makes anybody that's on them stuck to them. Just like how they tell you not to feed the animals at the parks. You should not be giving free shit to people because they never learn how to get it on their own.
Mistake. This is important work. Just last week, another Afghan national arrested for making terroristic threats and bragging about building a bomb. This in Fort Worth, Texas. Thankfully, he was apprehended. But mark my words, many more violent criminals who don't love our country, who have not been vetted, are still lurking in the shadows. We have seen innocent Americans murdered. We've seen innocent Americans raped, innocent Americans victims of violent crime again and again. And the hatred and the vitriol, of reckless, dangerous, inciting rhetoric and dehumanization continues. It doesn't stop. Just like the same.
Look what mismedication, guys. You got me a nice little thing of fruit here, some kiwis and some this, that, and the other. Hell yeah. I already got water. I'm good. I'm good. No, I'll give it to you later.
Party, the party of love and the party of compassion. They couldn't stand for the family of Lake and Riley during President Trump's joint session speech or the family of John.
Who is this clown, bro? Who? Oh, your super chat. Oh, shoot. So look at your super chat, you goof. Oh, damn, bro. Perectorius, bro, with a $50 super chat, baby. Holy cow, I missed it. How did I miss it, bro? Oh, my God. It says, I'm a progressive, but I believe our current welfare system was designed as a patronage system to get votes, to give bailouts to insurance and companies and keep people in debt to the government. If we had stuff like Georgism, it'd be better. Subbed. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Or I don't know, man or woman. Thank you, Perectorius, bro. Hell yeah. Look at that $50 super, dude. Hell yeah, bro. Look at that. Love it, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me, bro. Really appreciate you. Hell yeah.
Cortazar Tom Homan is here. All right, Tom, I get if this guy fought for the CIA in Afghanistan, he was a killer. He killed for us. And if we leave him there, they're going to slit his throat. But why do we have to bring him here? Why can't he go to 12 other Muslim countries where he can fit in? And if he blows himself up, we're not collateral damage.
Well, look, you're exactly right. Jesse, I worked for Fox News the last 4 years under Joe Biden, And almost every day I was on the air saying that the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, was lying. So wasn't Lloyd Austin. These people were not properly vetted. And you don't have to believe me, but DHS Inspector General came out report, said the same thing. And so didn't DOD IG. They weren't properly vetted because they didn't have access to any documentation. I know for a fact a lot of these Afghanistans, the ones that landed here in Dulles Airport, came with no documentation at all, not even an ID, and nothing from their homeland. And if you're going to try to find those documents, which they really don't exist, you're going to take them from the Taliban. You're going to make Taliban's going to give us the intelligence information we need to vet these people. It's ridiculous. They weren't properly vetted. The Inspector General, DOD, and DHS said it several times. Joe Biden lied to American people along with Alejandro Mayorkas. And they want to keep saying that, this is Trump's problem. Trump has blood on their hands. Where were all these Democrat congressmen and senators the last 4 years when 10 million illegal aliens came to the border? When sex trafficking women and children at all-time high? They lost track of 300,000 children that were smuggled in the country. President Trump's already found 30,000 of them. President Trump's winning every day.
So they lied to us. They didn't vet them. They lied, and they're here. Does that keep you up at night?
Yes, it does. And look, at least the ones they failed to vet, they got photographed and they got a fingerprint, right? They don't have the records to really show if they're a terrorist, if they're a bad person or not. But let's not forget the 2 million plus gotaways that came across our southern border. We have nothing on them. We don't know where they came from, why they're here, or where they're at now. But we're working really hard in the intelligence communities to find them. President Trump is committed to finding every one of these people, and we're going to hold them accountable. And even the children, I'm going to keep focusing on these children. We've already found 30,000 of them. These are 30,000 children that President Trump rescued that the last administration wasn't even looking for. So DOJ, Department of Justice, FBI, DHS, we're all one team. We're going to find these, not only the children, we're going to find every one of these people that weren't vetted properly. We're going to find out exactly who they are. If we can't vet them, they're going to be deported because we can't rely to leave them in this country if we don't have the information to show that they're not a terrorist.
Good. You heard the top of the show. Democrats are chomping at the bit. They want to go after Hegseth for war crimes.
Tom,
now they're
get him, bro.
potentially targeting rank and file soldiers for just obeying orders. Are you worried, Tom, that they're going to target you with prosecution after this is all over?
Oh, they already said they're going to, so come get some. Bottom line is, I'm not going to let them forget what they did the last 4 years. 500,000 children were...
Bro, he said they're already trying. Come and get some, bro. Come and get it. Come and get it, dude. Come on. Come and get some of Tom Homan, bro.
Were separated from their families and smuggled across this border. 250,000 Americans died from drug overdoses that came across that border. And what's President Trump done? He gave us the most secure border in history of this nation, which means sex trafficking plummeted. No unsuspected terrorists coming across the borders plummeted. Criminal cartels are going broke. He's record deportation. Every promise he made to the American people, he's getting. And let's not forget, we're going to find every one of these people that weren't vetted, and we're going to make sure that they are properly vetted, and if not, they're going home. President Trump's going to make this country safe again. He made that promise. We're going to make sure that he keeps that promise.
Hell yeah.
All right, Mr. Homan, keep up the great work. Thank you.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I love that, dude. That's what I want to hear, man. That's what I want to hear. Let's go, dude. And then let's get back to this guy right here, bro, because I got to hear this one more time. This is here.
How
This is
many
crazy.
refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you're asking me about Muslims' illegal immigration, none, not even one will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked
This
not
quota
about
system
illegal
failed.
immigrants. I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason.
John, you can hit us up on Discord. You can drop something on Discord if you want. I do have an email as well. It's on my actual YouTube channel page. If you click there, there's links to both Discord And I have an email there, so you could check it out. But Discord is where we go offline, chat and hang out, and we talk about other stuff. It's a community. We're all together on there.
Why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland, and we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
How many refugees has Poland?
I love that. 0, bro. 0 refugees, bro. Why? Why do that? Come on, dude. More? All right. All right, let's go. Let's go right here, man.
He leads his neighborhood watch so they never check his freezer. Fox News contributor Tom Shalhoub. At his restaurants, the plates warn you that he's very hot. Chef and restaurant owner Andrew Gruel. Her favorite Christmas movie, The Exorcist. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor Kat Tiff. And old ladies pine for his Yule log, former NWA World Champion host of Planet Tyrus. So, Tom, I'm really happy you jogged here.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Did you just get done with your paper routes? So anyway, it seems like the most consistent through line, and I've noticed this over the very weeks that we do these stories, is always no accountability. And it seems like a problem that the Democrats might be able to solve if they wanted to.
Yeah, and they won't point to the fact that there was no oversight. They've been spending the week trying to blame the National Guard shootings on Trump, saying, oh, he put them in harm's way, when it was really this program. I never trusted this program in the first place.
Of course
when
not.
They were like, oh, we got to bring them over, our allies. Let's look at our allies in the Middle East, how that has worked out. Let's see, our allies in the 1980s, Iran-Iraq war. Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
He was our ally, right? He turned against us. Then we had the Iraq war. Remember, we de-Baathified, and then we had the Shiites. We put the Shiites in power. The first thing the Shiites did, Muqtada al-Sadr, he turned the guns on the Americans. Again, they always turn on us. I never believed that this, we got to have our translators. I don't think they were even... Were they translating the right words, those translators?
You can never tell.
No, they were like,
you need a translator to watch the translator.
Yeah, they didn't have them. We were like, let's just find some locals. They'll translate. And the guy was like, tell them we come in peace. And I was like, the devil says they come in peace. I only trust the ones who were here before 9/11. Because remember, after 9/11, it was like all the Middle Easterners, they were on their best behavior, like on the west side over here in Hell's Kitchen. We had it was United Deli. And the guy changed the name after 9/11 to United States Deli. Like he wrote states on his sign and put like a little arrow. And then, you'd go in there and be like, Yankee Doodle.
Well, I would take that over what's going on in Minnesota. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, Andrew, you run restaurants. There's always oversight. You watch the money go in. If you didn't do it, you'd go out of business. That's the difference.
Yep.
You don't go out of business when you do this in government. You just get more money.
Well, and you say no oversight. So there is oversight. There's selective oversight. Notice how there's no oversight when they're in charge, but then when Trump is in charge, suddenly it's like they're listening to every single phone call, and you got Alexander Vindman on there like, Trump breathed in, not out, so that means the following, right?
Yeah.
It's like then it's the most granular oversight. It's absolutely absurd. There's a reason why you don't let predators within 100 miles. It should be, but within 100 feet of a school zone. And there's a reason why Democrats should be nowhere near Washington, D.C., because they're always going to be raping the coffers. They're going to be ripping the money out, and they're going to be stealing it for their friends. And the thing is that their policies, we always say, Trump's in charge now, so it's on him. They have mastered, I'll give this to them, they have mastered the ability to plant a seed and let it germinate into the future. So we're dealing with the issues that they created 10, 15 years ago. Remember Iraq, as you said, and Afghanistan and all those other words that I didn't understand? Is that we're going to go fight the war on their soil so we don't have to do it here. And everyone's like, that sounds so good. And guess what? We're fighting the war on our soil now.
Yeah, it's true. Kat, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations on landing the West Hollywood account for selling Sunset.
Yep.
Oh, nobody watches the real estate shows.
Yeah, I only watch Love After Lockup. Not a lot of home ownership going on there.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Why do you think there's no accountability at all? It seems, again, I keep saying, like, the Democrat Party could change overnight.
I have a theory for one of the many reasons there's no accountability, because there are, I think, many reasons, and thankfully we just don't, or unfortunately, we just don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But if you look at this not in a vacuum, but my first thought was just how many decades, how many years of how many mistakes related to Afghanistan have we seen overall?
Yeah.
And who has been responsible for any of that? We don't know the names of people who mostly have been the ones to make these mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to the withdrawal, people are like, oh, it's Biden's fault. Okay, but how much was he really involved in anything?
Probably nothing.
Who was punished for any of that?
Yeah.
And what happens is, I feel like just blaming Democrats, like, okay, it's the Democrats. Like, who? Who is it? Who's doing this stuff? Because it's like Democrats blame Republicans, Republicans blame Democrats. And then everybody's just so interested in this politically motivated blame game that they're not actually interested in blaming the actual people responsible. I can think of not really a better example than such a lack of accountability, and we're getting continuing bad negative outcomes from something quite like the Middle East situation.
I agree with John Babcock. He says they need to get Mossab Hassan Youssef on their panel. Best guest speaker ever. Bro, that guy goes so hard in the paint. I got to put a clip of him.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it's just how many decades are we still dealing with this? And we haven't seen any real consequences for the people who actually up here.
Yeah, that's true. $1 trillion. At least $1 trillion spent there, $1 trillion, and then the death of our
lives,
military.
And then also people who went there and did come back. You're not the same after that.
No, what a mess. What a mess. I like your sinus infection voice.
You know what? It's really, I really am the real hero for being here. Yeah.
Tyrus, if we think about this too much, we will go crazy. We will go, because we know what the problem is.
Well, it's blatant corruption. It's blatant. But the biggest thing is, like, we have to stop electing people that we know have no real life experience. I think a lot of the times when we see these politicians, their idea of what criminals are is stuff they see on TV. So they think every person that's arrested is a poet.
Yeah.
You know, or just misunderstood. And you'll even hear it in their dumbass speeches when they're like, oh, they're just stealing bread.
Yes.
You know, like it was an AOC. It was like, just so they get breads they could eat. Like they lobbyists and stuff.
Here is Mossab Hassan Youssef, bro. Look at this guy.
To speak on the behalf of the Gaza. Nobody did.
You did.
You self-proclaimed. Who authorized you to speak on the behalf of the Gaza? Nobody did.
You did.
You self-proclaimed, just like Mahmoud Abbas, just like Yasser Arafat, just like all the Palestinians who have been feeding on the pain of the Palestinian children. You are a parasite, a bottom feeder. This is what you are. So before you speak against the Prime Minister of a democracy and accuse him of being a terrorist, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. You have been supporting Hamas, and it's recorded against you for eternity. So don't play the game now that your fight is for the children in Gaza. This is not your fight. You know who's fighting for the children of Gaza? The IDF. That is killing Hamas. That is uprooting Hamas so the children of Gaza can have their freedom after 36 years of slavery. Those are the ones who qualify to speak on the topic, not you sitting in your comfort. And you want to have an opinion about it.
All right,
this is the problem that we have dealing with. Scumbags like this.
This guy fucking goes crazy, bro. The guy goes nuts. Shit, dude. Oh, wow. That dude is insane.
Stuff, they put these people in position because they're just going to read the script. And
His intensity, Hans, is nuts, bro. The guy's, dude, you look at his eyes, you're like, oh, dude, this guy's insane.
Have enough. You don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican or libertarian or anything to be like, I'm mad. That should be the across the board. That should never happen. And it happened in our state. It happened in our capital. No, heads a roll. Let's get to the bottom of this. That should be a united front. But immediately, because they have these people who are just yes people, and they just want to get money and be in front of a camera that they'll sell their soul for. And it's not just politics, it's everywhere. But they will sell their soul just so they can get in front of a camera and talk in generalities. The Democrats, the Republicans, black people, white people, gays, trans. You just say a box on it, and then everyone will take the box. Well, it must be the blacks this time. And you sprinkle some trans in there with the black box, and a couple of.
He's absolutely right. They just they get paid to talk in generalities, and they get paid to talk shit on Orange Man, the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
That's it. That's all they get paid for. And you know what? We're coming to the end of the show. I'm going to give you one piece of, and this is kind of off topic, but this is just, about DEI and fucking, this Democrat stuff, lefty stuff. Here we go. This is out of this book. So I read this book, Discrimination and Disparities. Okay. It's not a big, huge thing. We're just going to do a tiny little thing, that I got out of it. And I got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of little things out of it. So I'll show those. Do I have a screen that shows just a big screen of me? No, I don't have it. I don't have that. Let's see here. What if I go here? What if I do this? What if I do this and I show you, this is the book. So this is the book, Discrimination and Disparities by, you guessed it, Thomas Sowell. All right. So that's the book, Discrimination and Disparities. And out of this book, can I do like this and then angle that sucker? Does that work? Let me see. Does this work? There we go. All right, so out of this book, right here, a couple things. One thing is simple. Here, I'll just read it out to you. This is something that I got out of it. You ready? Here, before we close the show out, it's 9:30. Miss Medication made some dinner. She's calling me. And I want to give you guys a couple things I learned out of this book. This is from the beginning. I'll do a couple of these here and there. Sometimes what is missing may be simply someone to point an individual with great potential in the right direction. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it is. Instead of talking about DEI and this, that, and the other, just point people and give them advice and help them out like in that kind of a way. Not to change the outcomes and put these people in different places. Now, here's something. Studies show that firstborn children, okay, this is new. Some of you may not have known this, but I learned this myself in this book. It's on page 6 and 7. It says studies show that firstborn children are more likely to be more successful and test higher than second and third or fourth born children. And by far, okay? It's a big difference. It says, basically what he's saying is, if the same children within the same household are known, are going to be different and have different levels of success in their life, how can you, using DEI or use these mentalities and think that a whole entire race or something is getting screwed or something because their outcome is not the same as something else, or even people within a race? So people within the same household experience different levels of success. And it's known that the firstborn usually has a higher level of success. So that's another one. Here's another thing, and we'll close it out with this. Here's an interesting one. Some of you might have heard this. Why do Japanese Americans make more money than Mexican Americans? Why do Japanese Americans make more money than Mexican Americans? And I'm reading this out of my notes. Glenn Paul says smarter. Han says my oldest and youngest are the most intelligent. PCSCCR says because they are educated. Are you in club racing? Are you in a Porsche club racing? PCSCCR. Are you in racing? I'm curious. Culture, technology, drive. That's actually neither of those. Here's the interesting thing. The reason Japanese Americans make more money than Mexican Americans is because their average age of a Japanese American is 51 years old. The average age of a Mexican American is 27 years old. And yes, typically, the older you are, the more money you earn. But the simple fact is most Japanese Americans are older. They're about 51 years old on average. And Mexican Americans are 27 years old on average. And so that's why Japanese people make more money. But yet you have all these Democrats running around. There's all kinds of differences and disparities going on. But the world is not fair. There's all different ages and types of people, different cultures, like you guys said, different all kinds of things. We mentioned earlier shame and pride and the way their upbringings are, and all kinds of different things are happening. But yet you're going to have Democrats that are going to go ahead and say we need DEI. We need to make everything equal. We need an equal percentage of this because you guys are being unfair, all that kind of stuff. PCSCCR says Formula One. Right on, man. Awesome. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. That was a great show. I enjoyed it myself. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you for subscribing. And thank you. Stephanie Williams sent 5 gift memberships. Damn. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Damn. Hell yeah. Thank you. Good looking out, Stephanie. Right on. Appreciate you. Dude, that's so great. Thank you for supporting me and a bunch of other people today. Holy cow. Right on. Right on. Hell yeah. W. Stephanie, dude. W. Stephanie, dude. Thank you. Appreciate you, dude. Holy cow. Love that. That is awesome. I don't choose who it goes to, and she doesn't either. It just, I think YouTube just does it randomly. That's fantastic. That was very nice of you. Dude, what a day. Got a $50 super and 5 gift memberships. That is so nice. Thank you so much. Dude, really appreciate you guys. Hopefully, you enjoyed the stream as much as I did. You got something out of it. I'm going to try to incorporate more of these books and kind of do some more of this stuff with you guys. So we can learn some things together. Anyway, so appreciate you guys. Thank you again. Chicken has arisen. What's up, buddy? Good to have you. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. What's up, Meg Ultra? I will see you guys next time. I'm going to put an outro here, so if you guys want to keep chatting, you can keep chatting. It's a beautiful video. You're going to enjoy this video, actually. It's a pretty cool video. You guys ready? I'm going to put this on. But from me, good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. See ya. Good night. Bye.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign. Securing the border to foreign policy.
She now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
We are all Charlie Kirk!
Why do you blame the Biden administration? Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came in on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here. and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
In that same year, you had the left side destroying Teslas, destroying Tesla buildings, committing violence.
And they used the other pen and everything. He didn't approve this stuff. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom.
I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man. And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Military person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
He's right, he did beat Medicare, he beat it to death.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
I said there's nobody that could want an open border. Nobody. And now I find out that it wasn't him. He auto-penned it.
But now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean, my favorite saying is I was born black, not Democrat.
We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news. Thank you. And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you. Thank you.
We are all Charlie Kirk!
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Damn! Can you believe I was a lefty during that debate?
I want to remind the audience.
Oh.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
Yeah, but what do you mean by beta male?
A beta male is a male who look like a man but think like a woman, and that's you.
Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
I'm just trying to work that out. I mean,
Gotcha.
You have got me. I'm trying to work that through in my head.
An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners. from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival.
And we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Someone on the right so much as farts in the wrong direction, everyone on the left is out in the streets, and all the stores have to board up their doors, and all hell breaks loose. I'm gonna load your lips so you know what to tell these people.
You're just being too emotional. You need to go drink a big old cold tall glass of get over it. President Trump was duly elected president of the United States. He was in a free election, and the American people spoke. And some of my colleagues are upset about that. In fact, they hate the president so much, they've shut down government. They hate him so much that if President Trump came out in favor of breathing to live, they would hold their breath. It's not rational.
The suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021.
What is the other?
Kamala Harris and
Select the building.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
And they used the auto pen and everything. He didn't approve this stuff.
Woman.
Are you a real woman?
I don't know. What's a real woman?
You don't know what a real woman is?
I voted for Kamala.
But isn't that a sign of mental illness?
Not for me. I don't think it is.
So you don't know if you're a real woman or not?
What's a real woman?
Why do you blame the Biden administration? Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came in on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
person came in the chat and he said, look at these two morons.
Okay.
The FBI has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The former president has both sides of the political aisle up in arms.
Dangerous and unstable moment in America.
Okay? If someone on the left is telling you, oh yeah, you're right, both sides need to turn down, call out the BS.
But I believe we're going to start looking into this whole thing with who signed this legislation. Who signed legislation opening our border? I don't think he knew.
They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving.
Under Joe Biden, aka AutoPen, and the lefty lunatic Democrats, it was at record highs, higher than it's been in the last 45 years.
Yeah, but what do you mean by beta male?
A beta male is a male who look like a man but think like a woman, and that's you.
He called you a moron. What do you think about that guy calling you a moron?
I like it, and I guess we have a lot of morons like me.
Who was operating the auto pen? This is a very serious thing. We had a president that didn't sign anything. He auto pen almost everything.
Charlie! 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 Under Daddy Trump's second term, it's back way down, and he's doing things to bring it down even lower and keep it there going forward.
only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead.
I listened to Kamala Harris for 90 seconds, and I actually feel like I've gotten dumber in the process, and I have no idea what she actually believes.
Let him think I'm moron, and he's good. He can go vote for Biden and.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
And get this, the top 50% of earners in our country pay over 97% of all taxes. So when you lower taxes, what happens? People work more, invest more, start more businesses, and expand operations.
On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country and we will make America great again.
Now that Charlie Kirk is dead, the gloves are off. And I'm not talking about using violence. I'm gonna use my words. I'm gonna call you out when I see the bullshit. When I see you do moronic, idiotic shit, I'm gonna call it out.
Person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we had to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicaid, beat it to death.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
And now you find out what happened, because Biden, look, it's a very sad thing what happened. Always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
And then President Trump becomes the president. And with less than a year of him being president, you have the most prominent person on the right shot in cold blood. get this, under Reagan, tax revenue collected by our government nearly doubled as a result of lowering the rates. So when you hear people saying, let's tax the rich and charge more taxes, you're actually asking for the government to collect less tax revenue.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Damn! Can you believe I was a lefty during that debate?
I want to remind the audience.
Oh.
They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving.
Yeah, but what do you mean by beta male?
A beta male is a male who look like a man but think like a woman, and that's you.
Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
I'm just trying to work that out. I mean,
Gotcha.
you have got me. I'm trying to work that through in my head.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
7 years. They hated him. They targeted him. They hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America.
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came in on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
But now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean, my favorite saying is I was born black, not Democrat.
the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news. Thank you. And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you. Thank you.
You're just being too emotional. You need to go drink a big old cold tall glass of get over it. President Trump was duly elected president of the United States. He was in a free election, and the American people spoke. And some of my colleagues are upset about that. In fact, they hate the president so much, they've shut down government. They hate him so much that if President Trump came out in favor of breathing to live, they would hold their breath. It's not rational.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
And then after about 2 weeks, they said, wait a minute, this is a gift. He'll do anything.
Fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
Shenanigans, trying to break the other arm.
Charlie Kirk is dead because you Democrat morons are running around being idiots, completely unchecked.
They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you.
And notice I don't say radical left or left-wing lunatics because this is now the mainstream left. We're obviously not doing a good enough job of letting you know when you're acting like a complete moron. And we're gonna do a lot more of that.
Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
Yeah, but what do you mean by beta male?
A beta male is a male who look like a man but think like a woman, and that's you.
But no, now it's affecting us. Charlie Kirk is literally dead because of this. Because we let this go too far. Because you're going too far unchecked. So be prepared, because from here on out, you're gonna hear it.
Why do you believe the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
How are we going to get rid of racism and stop talking about it? I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Mr. Medication is working out.
You've been lied to about taxes your whole life. Every time we lower the rate, the government ends up collecting more.
The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival.
Charlie Kirk, you should be honest with yourselves. If you're going to be on the left and you're going to say it's a both sides need to turn it down, both sides need to calm down, and that's your way of agreeing or having an understanding of what just